The Mind Palace technique, a fascinating memory technique that can help you improve your memory in just a few simple steps. Let's talk a little bit about that. Hey guys, it's me Matt here, welcome back to Tipharot. Today we're going to be talking about memory. Now this is an idea of one of my friends. I was coming up with new video ideas and I was mentioning it to him and he goes, well, you should make a video on how to improve your memory. And well, general memory improvement isn't something that I had ideas for. I immediately had an idea that came to mind, and that is the Mind Palace technique, because this is something I've used in the past and it is incredibly effective. So what is the Mind Palace technique? Well, before I go into what it is, I should give a basic rundown of why it works. The Mind Palace technique essentially utilizes the way our brain processes visual memories as compared to just auditory or written memories and that. You see, if you just read something in a book, that's just one way of memorizing something. But if you actually see something, you experience it in it happening to you, either because you're there or because you've seen it in your head, then that stores a much stronger response, a memory that you can access for years and years to come. If you think about it like, if I told you to visualize your bedroom right now, you could easily see it. Now, if I told you to visualize the last 10 words that you read in a book, 2 hours ago, why is it that you can't remember those 10 words? It was only 2 hours ago. The last time you were in your bedroom might have been, a day ago or something like that. You might not be in your house at the minute. The reason you can remember these certain things easier is because they're stored visually. So the Mind Palace technique involves linking memories to some kind of visual stimuli. Now, the most common way that a lot of people do this is they have a particular route that they take through their house, for example. They go through the house, and then as they come across certain objects on that particular path, they will visually link them to the object that they're trying to remember. So, as an example, we're going to do this with a shopping list. So say you have I'm just going to use 5 things just to make it simple. So you have 5 things on the shopping list. You have carrots, you have apples, you have bananas, you have bread, and you have milk. So how do you actually remember that list? Well, now you've got 5 things, so you need to plan a 5-step journey. So what you could do is you could imagine 5 rooms in your house and you could walk through them step by step at a time. And when you're in the first room, say the first room is your kitchen. So you're in the kitchen. Now you need to visually link the kitchen to carrots. So perhaps maybe you have an orange cover on your kitchen table. So you imagine that orange is just a big carrot stretched out over the table. Or perhaps you imagine just there's lots of little carrots like all over, laying all over the floor. Or that you open your fridge and it's completely full of carrots. So once you've done that, say the fridge one. You walk into the kitchen and the first thing you do is you look in the fridge and it's all carrots. You close the fridge. Just imagine yourself doing that right now in your kitchen. Now, then you walk to the next room. For this sake, I'm going to say it's the hall. So you're in the hall that's next to the kitchen, and now you want to remember the next one. And I think it was apples. See, without the method, my memory ain't that good, but I think it was apples. And so you could perhaps look in the hall and you could imagine that the walls of the hall are just made out of apples. Like there's just walls of apples everywhere, and it's a long hall and it's just walls of apples, green and red all mixed. So you see that. And then you walk on to the next room. Perhaps it's the staircase that's going upstairs. So you get to the staircase and then you have bananas. So what you could do is you imagine yourself walking up the stairs and just bananas start falling down, raining down the stairs and just toppling down step by step. And then you go to the next room, which could be, the hall at the top of the stairs. And when you get there, you get to the top of the stairs and you just step onto a large slice of bread, to remember the bread one. And then you decide to go into your bedroom. And so you go into the bedroom and what you can see is the room has just been flooded with milk. You open the doors of the bedroom and so much milk pours out that it washes you away. Now, what happens is now when you retrace those steps that you took in the real world, you know, you walk into the kitchen first, and you don't have to actually do this literally, you can just do this in your mind. You imagine yourself walking into the kitchen and opening the fridge. The minute you open the fridge, you immediately go back to the memory of opening the fridge and seeing the carrots. So you close the fridge in your mind, and you walk out into the hall and you imagine the apple walls, and then you walk up the stairs and you imagine the bananas falling down the stairs. You walk up the stairs, you imagine stepping onto a slice of bread, and you imagine opening the door and being washed away by milk. See how much easier it is to remember that than trying to remember carrots, apples, bananas, bread, milk. In fact, I actually have a mind palace thing that I did, I think it was about 6 months ago. So I'm going to test how well this memory stores. Okay, so about 6 months ago, I went on a memory test site. It asks you to memorize a list of 10 to 12 items or something like that. And I decided to use the mind palace technique as a way to memorize them. So I imagined a particular routine, which was first I imagined the order that I put on my clothes, and I attached each clothing item to one of the things on the list, and then I imagined myself coming back from the shops, and I imagined the order that I would go through my house when I came back from the shops, where I would put the shopping bag, stuff like that. So I'm going to try and remember that now. It's been 6 months, I might not remember the whole list, but if I can even remember any of it, that's a shopping list essentially from 6 months ago, a list from a website of 12 items that I'm remembering. So let's see. Okay, so the first thing on the list was a vase. Then it was, I can't remember the exact order that I used for putting on the clothes part, so I'm not sure which order it went, but I think next was tiger, then camera, then teapot or teacup. I can never remember which one it was, whether it was a teapot or a teacup. Then ice cream. Then a cushion, then a shovel, then a piano, then a house, then a hat, and an orange. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put the actual list as it was on the screen there. So you're going to be able to see if I got that right or not. And you're going to be able to see how close the order was as well, because I even memorized the order of it, although, like I said, at the beginning it was a bit fuzzy, so I'm not sure how accurate those are. But yeah, that's the actual list. I'll put a link to the site where the list was on. And I just did this off the top of my head just now, 6 months after memorizing it. That's how powerful the mind palace technique is. So, try it yourself. Link things to things that you do. Like I said, I used the way that I get dressed, because that's something that was easy for me to visualize. So I put, for each item of clothing, I attached it to one of the objects. Like, for example, for the tiger and the camera, those were my socks. So I remember visualizing that on my left sock, because I always put my left sock on first for whatever reason, that it was just a tiger print. And I remember my right sock, it just had I imagined it had a picture of a camera on it, and it was as simple as that. And some of the other things I used was, for example, the part where I was imagining myself walking into my house coming back from the shops. I remember I imagined myself walking up the stairs, opening the door, except the door was covered in ice cream. And then I imagined myself walking in and opening the cupboard to put the shopping bag back in, and in the cupboard was a cushion that would fall out. And then I would imagine myself going up to my room, and there was just a shovel pushed right through the window of the door. And then I would open the door and I would go to put my coat on the side, and on the side I just imagined there was now a piano there. Then I imagined myself going over to my desk with the shopping, putting the shopping down, and that there was like a little doll's house type thing. And then I imagined looking on my computer, and there was an orange in a hat, which is how I remembered the hat and the orange. And so I can still remember that visualization now, 6 months later, and I can still remember the items on the list. So, try it like that. Figure out different ways, do a walk around your house, or a particular walk you take through a park or whatever, and just associate items with each other. If you have any comments or questions about the process, then leave those down below. And thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe up there. If you liked it, then leave a thumbs up. If you want to keep watching, check out the video linked on screen. Thank you, guys. Take care.